Hello, potential life insurance agent. So you've seen the videos and the Facebook feed and you've decided, hey, I want to know what this life insurance thing is all about. Can I really make the kind of money that they seem to be making? Will I really be as beautiful as that? And can I really go from homeless working out of my car to making $100,000 a week next month? Let's find out. So, life insurance can be a very good way to make a living. It can be very enjoyable. It can make you an above average income, but a lot of the hype that you hear is simply not true. You're not going to go from being homeless to making $100,000 next week. Can you make $100,000? Of course, absolutely. In fact, I'd say it's not even that difficult to do that, but it takes work, and it's not going to happen overnight. So, is this right for you? Well, let me ask you a few questions. Are you able to hold yourself accountable? And what I mean by that is, are you able to be your own boss? And a difficult boss. So if you need to work 10 hours a day, are you able to make yourself work 10 hours a day? A lot of people have a difficult time with that. Number two, are you good at talking to people and do you have their best interest at heart? So, Zig Ziglar said you can get anything that you want by helping enough other people get what they need, and that's very true. This is all about putting your client in the best place for them and their family. So my question is, are you able to put their best interest at the forefront of what you do enough times to accomplish your goal? That's an important question. Question number three, are you able to work on the phone? Because whether you spend your time in the field helping families or working on the phone helping families, it still all involves the phone. It is going to be the most vital tool that you have, and frankly, we're not all born with phone skill, but it can be developed as long as you push through the period where you suck, and you will, to the period where you no longer suck. How long that takes, I don't know. So that's basically what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. So what does the process look like? Well, number one, you make the decision. You're being recruited or you're seeing recruiting ads, they're everywhere. So when you decide who you're going to work with, you have a couple of questions. One, is the person or organization that I'm being recruited into, am I talking to somebody who's accomplished a goal I want to accomplish? So if I want to be a mechanic, I'm not going to necessarily ask questions of a dentist. I'm going to ask questions of a mechanic. I want to work with somebody who's had success in the field that I want to work in. That's very important. Unfortunately, because there is such a large piece of this industry that's recruiting, you get a lot of recruiting being done by people who haven't had the time or the success record to actually do it themselves, trying to recruit other people. And in my opinion, that's about as effective as a train wreck, because you're being mentored by people that have nothing to feed you because they've not first fed themselves. So that's number one. Work with somebody who has something to give you. Number two, in this day and age, if you're being offered anything less than 90% compensation on day one, you're not being offered enough. Talk to someone else. Have some respect for yourself and your time. Caveat to that is if you're going to be in a captive agency that provides everything to you, hey, maybe. I mean, that might be a good place to start. I'm just always been more independent than that. The next thing that you need to consider, this is very lead based. Does the company that you're working with have a good quality source of leads? Is it inexpensive enough, or is it profitable enough to be something that can work for you? And are the leads that they have any good? So that's another important question, because we live and die by leads. Think about it this way: how many people do you know? After you ask them once, you're out of business, right? So leads are very important. So you find the company that you like. Pardon me. The next step is, if you're not licensed, you have to get licensed. And that consists of an online course. And generally, the company that you are coming on board with will provide that for you. Uh, and the material is not overly taxing. It is boring. So what you do is you put your head down, you knock it out. How fast can it be done? Some people a week, some people a month. I mean, a lot of that's personal and it depends on you. You pass your test. Now you're eligible to sit for your license and exam. Sometimes you'll be able to do it online, proctored with a little person's picture living in the bottom corner of your screen. Sometimes you do it in person, but either way, it has to get done. Once you get it done, then you go from licensing to contracting. Contracting is interesting. It's the point where you present yourself through your organization to the carriers asking for the privilege of writing their product. It can take between a few days to a few weeks. The only good thing I can say about it is you only have to really do it once. You just have to get it done. During that process, in order to do the process, you'll have to take an anti-money laundering test. It's a very quick read it course that's generally provided for you. The other thing you'll have to do is acquire errors and omissions insurance, $20 to $30 a month. That's not overly taxing. But then you're through contracting. Congratulations, day one, contracted new agent. Where do we go from here? And where do we go from here is up to you. Now, if you're going to be like 80% of the people where you're going to go from here is nowhere, you're going to realize, hey, this takes work, and I'm really not going to be able to go from homeless to $100,000 in a week, and you're going to quit. God bless you. I'm not upset. It's just the way that it works. It's the way that it averages out. So just know that if you look to your left and your right, a good number of people that begin when you begin will not be there in a short period of time. So you have to decide, how do I want to work? Okay, we either work person to person, the good old fashioned way, eye to eye contact. We work virtual, which is a combination of person to person and telesales like I do, and we work telesales. What's right for you? I don't know. But I do think that no matter where you start, you should consider going in the field and working person to person first. Me, I do all telesales for a variety of reasons, and I'm not going to say one approach is better than the other because it's not. I do telesales because I'm able to reach far more people far more quickly than I could if I was driving from location to location. And I think that COVID's really helped things move along in that direction as well. So regardless of whether you're telesales, virtual, or face-to-face, now you have to have somebody to talk to. Fair? So if you're face-to-face, you're going to accomplish this by acquiring your leads, which can cost from as little as almost nothing to as much as way too much. What are you thinking? And calling those leads, right? And it's as simple as basically going from person to person to person to person. Hey, you filled this out, let's talk. Hey, you filled this out, let's talk. Of course, there's more to it than that, but that's what it is. So during the process of, hey, you filled this out, let's talk, understand that 90% will be no. And when I say no, I mean no in a variety of forms. 1, they don't pick up the phone. 2, they get voicemail. 3, you get a real live person. Out of 100 actual dials, expect that you're going to talk to 10. Out of those 10, expect that you're going to present to 5. Out of those 5, expect that you're going to help 2. At least those are my numbers. So when you see that you have to get to those few people, you realize a few things, that you're going to need some tools because you're going to have to make a lot of calls, at least 1,000 a day if you're telesales. I mean, just to be honest, if you're not, I don't think you're working. Me, I make considerably more, but I use my tools to make those for me, which all it does is it condenses the amount of time to put in the activity that I need to make. Once you've gotten your person, you've screened through all of the no's to get to your person, you talk about their situation. You talk about their health, their goals, what they're looking to do, and you find the carrier that matches them. Then you put it in place. It's as simple as that. You identify the needs. Well, you identify the interests, then you identify the needs, you find the solution, and that's what you do. Over and over and over and over. So that's a day in the life. That's what we do. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad position at all. I love what I do. I truly do. I'm very glad that I found it. I wish I would have found it much earlier. But I will say this, like I said again, if anybody tells you that you're going to go from nothing to insanely wealthy in a week, get away from them. It's not true. If somebody is trying to recruit you into insurance and they've never sold very many policies, get away from them. What can they give you? If somebody is trying to offer you 40% commission, get away from them. They're trying to take advantage of you. But if everything that I've said hasn't dissuaded you from trying, good luck. You have a really good chance, as good as anybody else's, to be successful. And the only thing that's going to determine that success is whether or not you push yourself when you don't want to and you give yourself a chance to win. I hope this works. I have more content. Like and subscribe. Good luck.